Hi, my name is Jim, and in this short video, I'm going to show you how to get Kubeflow 1.4 up and running on Google Cloud Platform using MiniKF. First, what is MiniKF? MiniKF is arguably the fastest and easiest way to get started with Kubeflow. It's a package distribution supported and QA'd by Aricto. It runs on Kubernetes via a single VM that's hosted on either AWS or GCP, and it ships with the latest Kubeflow 1.4 release. It also ships pre-configured with the Kale Jupyter Lab extension as well as the Rock data management component. If you haven't already done so, make sure to head on over to aricto.com/getstarted or click on the Start with Kubeflow button anywhere on the website, and this will get you access to all the different distributions of MiniKF, plus installation instructions, tutorials, and where to get help in the event you get stuck. Now, a couple of installation requirements to make the process as smooth as possible. The first one is going to be on privileges. Now, you want to make sure that you have the ability to create a project, you have the editor role, and you have billing enabled. On the resources side, you're going to want to make sure that you have access to a minimum of 8 virtual CPUs, 30 gigs of memory, 200 gigs for boot disk, and 500 gigs for data disk. Next up, 3 quick tips and tricks. The first one being that if you're currently on GCP's free tier, note that it isn't going to offer sufficient resources to run MiniKF, and you're going to want to upgrade to a paid account. Second, if you see any sort of insufficient resources error, you may need to put in a request for an increase in quota. And then finally, make sure that you're able to SSH on port 22 and access HTTP on port 80. The installation is basically 4 steps. The first one is that we launch MiniKF from the GCP marketplace. Second, we define our resources in the configure and deploy screen. And then once the VM is up and running, we complete the install and verify MiniKF. And then finally, we log into the MiniKF dashboard. The first thing to do is to search for MiniKF in the Google Marketplace. Once you find it, click the launch button. And here we're going to want to go ahead and configure our instance. I'm going to give my deployment a name. In this case, I'm going to do nothing particularly fancy, MiniKF Jimmy 1.4. I'm going to then select the zone that is most appropriate for my deployment. And I'm going to go ahead and take the default here as far as an N1 series instance that's going to give me access to 8 virtual CPUs as well as 30 gigs of memory. On the boot disk and on the data disk, go ahead and take the defaults that are here pre-populated, which are going to be 200 and 500 respectively. Go ahead and accept the terms, click the deploy button. Now, it'll take a few seconds for our instance to be provisioned, but once it is, we're going to be ready to go ahead and SSH into the box. Click on the SSH button. And once we're inside of the instance, to kick off the MiniKF installation, we just want to go ahead and type MiniKF, click enter. Now, this part of the installation is going to take a couple of minutes, so it's a good time to go grab a cup of coffee or catch up on some email. But once it completes here through the magic of time-lapse videography, we're going to be given a splash screen, which is going to have our URL as well as our username and password from which to log into the dashboard. So let's go ahead and go to that URL, type in the default username user, put the appropriate password that was given to us there, click the login button, and you are now at the Kubeflow 1.4 central dashboard courtesy of MiniKF.